When we look at McDonald's buildings in different cities around the world, each one has its own unique style. But even with all those differences, we instantly recognize, oh, it is McDonald's, thanks to the iconic logo and signature colors. The same thing happens with fashion retail stores like Hermes, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Supreme, and Chanel. They often use architecture as a form of art to express their brand identity. But before we dive deeper into that, remember past products? The American home goods retailer that took a bold approach by combining art, architecture, and retail. Each of their buildings in different US cities had its own unique design and artistic flair. They create a series of unusual, creative showrooms that weren't just places to shop. They were architectural statements. This building challenged the idea of traditional retail and reflect the bold, playful style of American modernism architecture. But did their creative approach actually attract customers? Did it help the business succeed? Let's take a look at how Best Product first made their mark. Best Product was founded back in 1958 by Sidney Lewis. At first, it was just your go-to place for affordable home goods, camping gear, jewelry, toys, and electronics. And it did really well. But as time went on, Sidney needed a hobby for his health, and guess what he picked? Art. Thanks to a little inspiration from his wife, Frances, art became a family thing. By the mid-1970s, the Lewis family, who were running the catalog-based retail company, decided to shake things up. They teamed up with architecture group called Desain, short for Sculpture in the Environment, to design a bunch of wild, eye-catching storefronts for 9 of their showrooms across the US. Those buildings were weird, funny, and sometimes even controversial, but that was the whole point. They want to challenge what a retail space could look like. For Sidney Lewis and architect James Wines, it wasn't just about selling stuff. They come from a generation full of big dreams and tough realities, and they believe that real change means taking real risks. Some people thought it was just a marketing gimmick, but to them, it was deeper than that. Art, humor, and creativity all rolled into architecture. Best Products really made waves with their showrooms, starting with the iconic Peeling building in Richmond, Virginia. Its brick facade looked like it was curling off the wall, like paper peeling, drawing in crowds just to see it in person. Then came Heston's in the Terminate facade, when a plain-looking building revealed a jagged break cutout at the top once its cover was dramatically removed by helicopters. Over the years, they kept pushing boundaries. There was the Notch building in Sacramento, where a concrete corner slid open daily like a secret entrance. In Richmond again, the Forest building looked like it had been swallowed by nature. Milwaukee had the inside-out building, showing off a cross-section of its interior. Cotter Ridge showroom went even farther. The wall front facade stood apart from the actual buildings, with entrance placed right by the parking lot. The Rainforest building used real greenery and a water wall for natural cooling. Then came the Tilt building, with a brick facade that looked like it was floating off balance thanks to the smart engineering. Finally, breaking their usual brick style, the Desain building turned the wall facade into a massive, distorted base, mimicking how we see signs blur past from a moving car. This building sparked a lot of different reactions. Some people saw them as brilliant, clever, artistic, and full of deeper meaning. Others thought they were just playful gimmicks that prioritized design over function, ignoring how people actually experience and use buildings day to day. Even decades later, opinions are still divided. Some architects and critics, especially those who admire Robert Fenter's postmodern style, see this showroom as meaningful works of art with social commentary. But others, like architect and writer Diane Girardeau, argue that they ignore real social needs and didn't serve everyday people in practical ways. So, who are these quirky, eye-catching buildings really for? Surprisingly, they weren't made to impress critics or famous architects. They were built for regular customers, the people who already shop at Best Product. These stores were more like public art bold and creative. Even though the playful and artistic design weren't just for show, the Lewis family understood they were taking a financial gamble. These buildings were meant to blend art and commerce in a bold way, but that creativity comes with a real cost. Just a year after the launch of their first few architectural showrooms, the company's profit dropped by 13%. So at least in the short term, the risk didn't seem to pay off financially. The company couldn't recover. Eventually, this product shut down for good, marking the end of a bold, challenging experiment in retail and architecture. This marked the beginning of the lost era of what some call the anti-Walmart facade. Unlike Walmart's standard big box approach, plain, functional, and focused entirely on efficiency, this product took a bold, artistic path, while Walmart stuck to uniformity and scale. The two companies represent two completely different philosophies in retail. Best want to inspire and surprise its customer with imaginative buildings, while Walmart prioritized convenience, low prices, and consistency values that would ultimately win out in the long run. The rise of Walmart and similar big box retailers in the late 80s and 90s signaling a shift in consumer priorities, from curiosity and creativity to affordability and access. Today, companies like Amazon continue the Walmart legacy in digital form, dominating through massive scale, ultra-fast logistics, and endless product variety. For most consumers, shopping has become about speed and cost efficiency. The emotional or aesthetic experience, they often take a backseat. But that doesn't mean Best Product's legacy has finished. Even though the company itself didn't survive, its bold experimentation planted seed in the world of architecture and branding. The idea that a store could feel like an art, or that buildings could tell stories, has inspired a generation of designers. Today, we see echoes of Best spirit in modern flagship store, concept pop-up, and immersive retail experiences. Brands like Apple, Nike, and even luxury fashion houses invest heavily in architectural storytelling to stand out and connect emotionally with visitors. Some of them have built showrooms and stores that double as design landmarks. Let's take a look at the Hermes store design by MVRTV in 2016. The facade, called the Crystal House, beautifully blends sculpture glass with traditional terracotta brickwork from a Victorian townhouse. Using glass allows natural light to flood the interior, creating a bright, inviting atmosphere that highlights the luxury products inside. At the same time, the glass's transparency and smooth texture contrast with the rough, historic brick, mixing old and new in visually stunning way that naturally draws attention from passerby. The elegant and sculptural facade doesn't just catch eyes. It shapes how customers see the luxury brand, showing that architecture and location are key part of branding. Together, this create innovative opportunities for retail, luxury fashion, and architectural industries to rethink how store design can make a powerful impression. Let's talk about McDonald's store design. Unlike luxury brands, McDonald's focus on simple, practical architecture that instantly recognizable with its signature colors and logos. The design prioritizes efficiency, making sure customers get fast service in comfortable, welcoming space. Large windows and bright lighting creates openness, while layouts support high capacity and quick flow. McDonald's shows that retail design isn't just about looks, it's about reinforcing the brand's promise of fast, reliable food. Their success comes from balancing smart design with smooth operation, proving function is just as important as style. Then, why are companies like McDonald's and fashion retail successful, even with artistic store? The key is that design alone isn't enough. Best Product uses bold, artistic architecture as a statement, but often at the cost of function and budget. Meanwhile, McDonald's balanced creative design with efficiency, prioritizing speed, capacity, and consistency. Fashion brands like Hermes, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, and other brands blend a catching aesthetic with smart branding and solid retail strategies. Best struggled because its wild design were expensive and risky to maintain. Its core business wasn't unique enough, and it lacked supply chain strength. So, what is the reason? Creative branding must be backed by a strong operation. Best unique store made scaling costly and slow, while companies like McDonald's use adaptable templates for global growth. Best has a cool vision, but they didn't have the logistic, timing, or solid business setup to keep going. Today's successful brands get it right by mixing great design with strong branding, running super efficient operations, and using models that can easily scale and adapt. Plus, they sell products people actually want to win, and with real emotional connection. So yeah, a lot of what best start is happening now, but these companies have the business power and right timing to really make it work.